Hi, Jewish Mom. I hope you had an amazing Yom Kippur. So I wanted to talk today about my Elul plan. So I think I told you that I told you a few weeks ago that my teacher, Rabbi Ari Niven, so he has us every year in Elul. He has us make up a plan called the Elul plan, which is kind of like the blueprint for our year. It's kind of like the plan for where our goals for the year in many different levels. And I want to talk with you about what I chose this year for maybe what's the most important aspect of the plan, which is called my yearly direction. So my yearly direction means that it's something it's the last thing that you do after drawing up all of your plan in all different areas of your life and all your goals in all the different areas of your life. Then you work on your yearly direction. So that's what I want to talk with you about, because I think probably most of you are not doing Rabbi Niven's course, have not made up an Elul plan, but I wanted you to just have this idea, as I think it's a good idea for everyone to think of your yearly direction, which is something that you could work on, which is it's like a goal. It's a goal that could impact many different areas of your life. Like, what's one thing that you could change about your life? That if you change this one thing, then you would be a better wife, a better mother, a better employee, a better Avedet Hashem, a better community member. Anything, like, just think what would be that one thing. It takes a bit of thought, but what I thought for this year, my yearly direction is, here it is. And then I'm going to explain. It's a little bit complicated. I'm going to explain it afterwards. To fill my life with more curiosity, adventure, fun, and self-care, so I can thrive emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Okay, so something that I realized after I thought about it was that I used to be a person who was very adventurous. I think of people who had known me in high school, and maybe college, like that. Maybe one of the first things that they would have said about me was that I was an adventurous person. When I was in high school, I traveled. I studied Russian in high school. I traveled several times to the Soviet Union, in various contexts, like youth exchanges. I just like pop on a plane, go wherever I was supposed to go, and I traveled. In college, I went to Indonesia, and kind of left the program for a month in independent study. I was living on my own in a place called Yogyakarta. That I have to tell you this story about Yogyakarta. Remind me an amazing story about some really interesting religious Muslim women I met there. That was like, I was a very adventurous person, and then of course I came to Israel and became religious, and that unto itself was a very adventurous thing to do, leaving everything I knew behind and joining and becoming part of Israel and the religious community. But the thing is that I think that like around at one point when I became a mother, then I kind of lost that adventurous part of my personality. I think that probably many of you can relate, that like you end up just getting into a rut of like that I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm picking up the kids and I'm taking off the kids and I'm going here and I'm going there, and I will go to the gym to get exercise and I will come home and I will go to the mall to buy my daughter's skirt, and I'm going to come home, and did it like kind of getting into like this kind of blinder thing, like that you have these things to do with very little adventure, and curiosity. So that's something that I've decided on like a small level, like what I would like to do. Is I thought, probably many of you are familiar. There's a book called The Artist's Way. It's a book I really love. Probably all of you have heard of it. And she has something there called the Artist Date. It's just basically that you're supposed to spend 2 hours a week going and doing something that you love, that you plan something creative, interesting, artistic, to go and do something extra creative. So I said what I want to do this year is I want to every week go on an artist date, go and do something adventurous, and interesting and creative and blah, blah, blah. And so I haven't really started yet. I'm seeing right now to go from kind of like to go from like a state where like I have not been adventurous, so adventurous, for a long time. To go from that to like a 2 hour artist date, it's gonna be, I'm trying to transition into that. So right now I decided, okay, half an hour a week, I'm gonna like kind of, where like whatever I'm doing, I'm going to kind of be more present and curious and adventurous about what I'm doing right then. So what I decided is that, so like today, for example, this is transitioning into artist dates. So today I was at the Shuk, and I was in a store, and it's a spice store, and I thought, okay, like I'm gonna take now, look at my watch. Instead of like rushing to do the things I have to do, like after this and after this, after this, and make my pep talk and da, 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 da. I said, okay, no. Now I'm spending an extra 5 minutes in the store. It's a really cool store. Kind of looking around, and I noticed that they have apple and cinnamon jelly. I picked up some. It looked pretty good. I looked at, they had like different colors of quinoa. They have red quinoa, black quinoa, white quinoa. It's pretty cool. They had all sorts of spices and all sorts of interesting. They had like, you know how they have ginger? That's like a whole ginger plant. So they had like a whole turmeric plant. Thought that was cool. And all sorts of interesting things. I think maybe I could go back there and spend another few hours. And it just felt good. It was like 5 minutes kind of transitioning into this adventure, curiosity, 5 minutes of just being a bit more curious and being more present and enjoying, enjoying where I am as opposed to just running from place to place. And the other day also, I was on my way. I was walking somewhere. I was walking to Geula, which is kind of the main Haredi shopping area in Jerusalem. And when I was there, I noticed that there's like a new development that was built at a place called Schneller. It's kind of a historic building next to Geula. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll go and see what the new housing development at Schneller looks like. And I thought, usually I'd be like, no, I have to go here. And I blinders on, no, I have to go here. I'm on my way here. I have to go on my way to Geula. Got to get there. I thought, no, I'm going to spend a few minutes, and I walked over, and the amazing thing was that it led to a playground and then to another historic building I'd never seen, and to another kind of beautiful series of lawns and gardens that they've planted, leading, if you're familiar with Jerusalem, between Malchei Israel and Bar Ilan Street. And I'm sure on Cholamot it's going to be packed with children, because they did a beautiful, beautiful job. Very green and grassy and beautiful, and very, very kind of interesting playgrounds there. But it's the kind of thing like it was just like a 10 minutes out of my time to go there. But I sat down on the grass a little bit, thinking, looking, like kind of like just spending some time just being where I was, like curious about where I was. I took like a photograph of where I was. And that for me, that this is like my transitioning into my yearly direction to fill my life with more curiosity, adventure, fun, and self-care, so I can thrive emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So I wanted you to think about that for yourselves. Like, what would be your yearly direction? Is there one thing that you could work on? For example, if there's a person, let's say a person who's not getting enough sleep, then that could really definitely impact your your quality of life, the quality of your relationships, the quality of your avodat Hashem, the quality of your professional life, let's say. Or if you're not getting any exercise, that could definitely, like, if you're not feeling good physically like that, or you need to lose a lot of weight, like these things could also, if you work on these specific things, and they could really upgrade many areas of your life. So think about it. What would you like to work on this year? What is your yearly direction? And then just every day, think in very, very small increments, like in 5-minute increments, how you can bring this yearly direction into your life. So another thing I want to mention to you, it's something that it's not so related, but something that I've been doing in the mornings, every morning after I daven, is I've been doing something, working on there's an exercise that I'm sure I've told you about in the past, called the Presime. I think I mentioned it to you a few years ago. So Rabbi Niven has this tool called a Presime. Basically, it's like a resume. It's a mixture of the words resume and presume. Presume, like kind of like thinking ahead. So what is it? Basically what he says, what Rabbi Niven suggests, is to think of yourself towards the end of your life. Let's say you're an elderly woman. Let's say you're in your late 90s, sitting in your rocking chair, and you're looking close, and you're closing your eyes and just thinking back, so happy and so grateful for the life that you lived. and think about like what like this, imagine yourself at the age of 98 thinking back and so happy about your life. What do you think of? What are the things in your life that made you happy? Okay. And so so what I've been doing every morning, I decided this is like an exercise you can do, like you can do and make a whole vision of what you want, vision of what this 90 whatever year old woman sees. But what I've been doing is every morning thinking of three things, imagining that and doing like just three things of the present. So you can do it for an elderly lady. So what I did this morning is I was looking back and thinking, thank God, I'm so grateful that I was a dedicated wife, that I was kind of like a real dedicated wife to my husband, the years that we had together, um, and um, and I'm happy that I was a devoted mother, that I was accepting of all of my children, whatever ways, whatever paths they took in life, that I was accepting and loving, and that we had this close family together. And I thought to myself, oh, and I'm so happy that I was a dedicated daughter to my parents, um, uh, when I had the chance. Um, and um, so just suggesting, and another option for the present. It's a very, very powerful tool. It really helps you to put into perspective what is ultimately most important to you. Another option that Rabbi Niven suggested this year, is to think of yourself next Rosh Hashanah. It's the Rosh Hashanah of 5,779. Okay, and you're looking back at this year. You're looking back at 5,778, and you're thinking, wow, this was the best year. This was the best year. And thinking, what did you insert into your life which made you feel like, wow, this was the best year. Okay. So on that note, I just want to recommend to you, to take some time to think about what would be your yearly direction. What would be the one thing that you could implement in your life, that you could change in your life, that could upgrade many different areas in your life. Okay. For me, I think I want to implement more, like bringing more into my life, more curiosity and adventure. But I said you don't have to go overboard. I'm doing it now, trying 5 minutes a day, to a little bit add more adventure to my life. I'm hoping to work my way up this year to 2 hours a week of doing an artist date. Um, and um, and also the suggestion of doing a resume, I think this is a really, really great way to get in touch with our priorities and keep them in the center of our, keep them like, what do you call it, in the center of our minds. So you can do a resume from an elderly lady sitting in like at the end towards the end of your life, and looking back at the life you lead, at the life you led, and thinking why, and thinking of what would make you happy, what would make this 90 whatever year old woman, what would make her happy, or you could do it for next Rosh Hashanah, looking back at this year and thinking, what did I do this year that made this the best year ever? Okay, or then of your life, like the best life ever. How did I live the best life ever? Okay. On that note, I want to bless all of you Jewish moms with a Chag Sameach. As you know, I'm not going to be making, I'm not making a pep talk next week. But Hashem we'll be in touch after Sukkot. Chag Sameach.